Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're talking about the ticker EBON, going with the name Ebang. Today we're covering the latest news about this one, including as well my opinion regarding their operations, as well as the short seller report itself. We're going to discuss that, and then moving on towards technical analysis. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. If you were to go down below or through this video, the video is already segmented based on the things I'm going to be discussing, so you can skip through if you would like, but let's just go right away towards the latest news and operations. So I'm going towards their website. I'm discussing the main operations in 2021. Starting off is Ebang International announces official launch of cryptocurrency exchange, and this is their website, www.ebonex.io. And it's basically a cryptocurrency exchange using blockchain technology in the global market. And they announced that they're launching on April 5th, which was yesterday. And they said that the chairman and CEO of the company commented, "The official launch of our cryptocurrency exchange is the result of our continuing investment in research and development. In recent years, we have made considerable investments in R&D talent, recruiting, as well as product innovation and iteration. The launch of our cryptocurrency exchange business will not only expand revenue sources from our cryptocurrency business, but also optimize development of blockchain industry chain." And then moving on, Ebang International announces pricing of following on public offering. And what this is $85.4 million gross proceeds of that offering that they closed. And this news is on April 1st. Moving on March 17th, they completed 6 nm ASIC chip designing for Bitcoin mining machine. And you might think, well, that is actually amazing in terms of chip shortages usually in the world and the lack thereof in terms of the current market for specific areas, and they might be filling the gap in the future as well. In production at least. And you might think to yourself, well, what do they want to mine? It's Litecoin and Dogecoin, or some people pronouncing it Doge. I think it's Doge actually. But anyway, Dogecoin is more of a meme coin. People have been pumping it for a while. It's just because it's something fun, right? Elon Musk's end up sharing a tweet or retweeting something, and all of a sudden it skyrockets 100%. Well, they are trying to ride that hype and meme coins. So Litecoin, I don't know much about it, but I definitely know Dogecoin. And they're interesting to mine that in terms of both coins to get at the same time. And then they also have $72.4 million in gross proceeds, and another offering in February 22nd. And also, they have another one going on. Other than the 72.4, we added the 85 something that we talked about earlier, and then we go on towards their general mining operations for Bitcoin mining businesses. So that's yet to be launched based on February 17th. And then we go down towards the chip designing for simultaneously mining Litecoin and Dogecoin, as I did say just a bit ago. Now we go on towards a bit off the Hindenburg research. And if you'd like to see more contents like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave notifications on. If you would like to join our Discord server, you'll find it in the description below. It's totally free, there's no obligations there. So Hindenburg research, this came out just today. Ebang, yet another cryptocurrency China hustle, absconding with US investor cash. Now, they go ahead and highlight Ebang is a Chinese-based cryptocurrency that has raised $374 million from US investors in 4 offerings since it has gone public in June 2020. And that's correct, by the way, because they haven't gone public more than a year already, and they've raised almost a third of $1 billion. While the company represents that it would use the majority of the numerous capital proceeds to develop its business operations, our research discovered it instead directed much of the cash out of the company through a series of opaque deals with insiders and questionable counterparties. For example, the company directed $103 million, representing $11 million more than its entire IPO proceeds, into bond purchase linked to the US underwriter, AMTD, which has a track record including fraud and self-dealing allegations levied against it by one of the largest private equity firms in China, listing that have subsequently imploded. And then AMTD entered into similar bond transactions with another company it recently took public in January 2020 called Molecular Data. Now that company is down 70% since then and has seen 6 board members and its co-founders resign and had its auditors decline to stand for re-election. Now in November 2020, Ebang tapped into the market for its secondary offering, announcing a $20 million offering raise. It claimed the proceeds would go to quote-unquote primarily for development. Around the same time, the company directed $21 million to repay related party loans to Ebang shareholder or chairman CEO Doug Hu's relative. Before going public on Nasdaq in June 2020, Ebang twice applied for a listing on the Hong Kong exchange, attempting to raise as much as $1 billion. Multiple media outlets reported that Ebang's Hong Kong IPO plans were suspended following involvement in an alleged sales inflation scheme with a company called Yindu. Yindu was a massive Chinese peer-to-peer online lending scheme that defaulted on its 20,000 retail investors in 2018, with $655 million vanishing into thin air. Its ultimate beneficial owner fled the country, and Chinese prosecutors have been pursuing a criminal case against other suspects associated with Yindu. Ebang claims to be a leading Bitcoin mining machine producers, yet our research indicates that this claim is backed by no evidence. Ebang released its final miner in May 2019 and has seen since its sales dwindle to near zero, delivering only 6,000 total miners in the first half of 2020. While its mining machines business failing, Ebang pivoted the story to a cryptocurrency exchange launch called Ebon, announced that about the exchange added as much as $922 million market capitalization to Ebang just based on that announcement. We've seen that already. We found that Ebang's exchange appears to be purchased from a white label cryptocurrency exchange provider called Blue Helix that offers out-of-the-box exchanges for as little as no money upfront. Ebonix reports that what appears to be a fictitious volume, despite just launching and having virtually no online presence, Ebonix volume implies it is one of the largest spot exchange in the world, and its trading metrics are absent from cryptocurrency exchange market trackers such as FTX and CoinMarketCap. Ebang is yet another cautionary tale for inexperienced retail investors enthused by anything crypto related. As is so common with other ridiculous China-based schemes, the company will likely keep selling shares as long as investors are willing to keep buying them. We think this is a clear one-way street. The capital isn't coming back. And they also, by the way, have, of course, a short position. That's usual. They're not going to make a report without a short position. And then they go ahead and tie a little bit of everything in between. But right off the bat, seeing some of the allegations here, we can go even diving deeper and deeper, and they do have this really lengthy report. And I'm going to just read the highlights and going to scroll right through them, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on it. So first off, background: Ebang's crypto mining hardware business and recently open crypto exchange. So it was founded in 2010. They focused on selling communication network equipment until around 2014, and then transitioned to blockchain industry. And then they have as well in December 2016, they integrated something called ASIC machines that are specifically built to mine certain cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dash, Litecoin, and Zcash. Since then, the company has launched 12 new machine variations, with most recent being machines seen below, the EBIT 12. In addition to cryptocurrency mining hardware, the company recently announced the exchange. We talked about that. Part 1. Before its Nasdaq listing, Ebang's fraud allegation led to 2 failed Hong Kong IPO attempts. And they do highlight it here. Based on the website from Hong Kong Exchange, HKEX. An Ebang Hong Kong IPO was suspended following the allegation of sales inflation and involvement with a Ponzi scheme. And then moving on, P2P lender Yindu goes under investigation for $655 million vanishes into thin air, based on an article in 2018 on July 19th. And local media reported that the sources of the CFO for Yindu transferred around 520 million Chinese currency, which is around $79.9 million, And to Ebang between December 2017 and February 2018, Ebang then transferred $58.4 million back to CEO Hongwei several months later, the CFO, between March and April 2018. It is unclear when the transactions began, but they're seeing here that the prospectus published in December 2018 as a customer who generated 12.1% of Ebang 2017 sales revenue. And you get to see they're literally right there as well. This is sourced on eBag Prospects, page 152. Yindu had directed $79.9 million to Ebang via accounts linked to Yindu's CFO's wife, according to Chinese media. The funds were alleged to have been used to inflate Ebang's sales ahead of its IPO. Yindu investors asked Hong Kong regulators to refuse Ebang's listing application to alleged embezzlements. And then we move on. Part 2. Ebang then took back to the US, where it IPO'd through an underwriter accused of fraud by one of its largest investors. Its IPO proceeds since vanished. And shunned from Hong Kong, Ebang set its sights on the US market and raised $91.7 million through June 2020 IPO. Ebang represented in its IPO prospects that the vast majority of the proceeds would go into expanding its business and that any loans made within the proceeds of the offering would go only to its subsidiaries. And then moving on. Despite these claims, Ebang promptly diverted $103 million, all of its newly raised IPO cash, and then some into bonds linked to the underwriters AMTD. Ebang's underwriter AMTD has a history of allegations and fraud and self-dealing IPO flops. Fraud claims flies China investments firm CMIG turns on its ex-partner AMTD. And moving on, AMTD has done this before. Another company it took public in 2020 directed IPO proceeds back to them, and the company is down 70%. Has seen 6 board members and a co-founder resign and saw its auditors decline to restand for re-election. And the company is called MKD, and AMTD's track record as an underwriter is abysmal. Despite the bull market, 87% of its US IPO have resulted in losses. That's a wow. When its IPO cash gone, Ebang raised $21 million through a secondary offering to be used primarily for development. Around the same time, $21 million went to pay back related party loans to the chairman's CEO's relatives. And moving on, part 3, Ebang's business operations in mining or lack thereof. Ebang claims that it's a leading Bitcoin mining machine producer and that in 2019 it was leading Bitcoin miner in the global market. And as they show you exactly where that information is actually there, Ebang is not one of the world's leading Bitcoin mining machines producers. In fact, it has sold a pittance compared to other large Chinese producers. And in an industry soaring hot with growth, Ebang's miner sales have been in decline since 2018 and are now close to zero. And you get to see there Ebang's ASIC miner sales volume based on Ebang's prospectus page 15 itself. And of the limited sales Ebang has reported to date, many appears to be defective units or just fabricated altogether. And Ebang has a reputation for delivering defective products. Example, Chinese media reported that one order of 500 E10 miners needed 873 repairs in 3 months. And moving on, part 5, Ebang's cryptocurrency exchange. On March 11th, Ebang announced that the start of a beta testing for the crypto exchange, sending shares surging. Now, the price spike implied the $900 million value to the beta exchange. And then moving on, Ebang's chairman claimed that the successful cryptocurrency exchange launch was due to the company's extensive research and development. But evidence shows that Ebon simply purchased a white label out-of-the-box cryptocurrency exchange made minor modification. And then moving on as well, you get to see BHEX, which was referred to by Ebang itself regarding the code repeatedly referenced, and it's actually affiliated with Blue Helix. Blue Helix is an Asia-based cryptocurrency exchange and provider of white label exchange software. The company accounts for a large exchange called Huobi, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, as an investor in reports having over 270 clients. Blue Helix has advertised white label exchange solutions for as little as zero upfront cost, and they do actually show you the Blue Helix Medium post itself for Blue Helix. Below is a screenshot of Ebon's exchange, or taken on April 5th, 2021. It looks almost identical to Blue's Helix platform. Here's Ebonix, and here's Blue Helix. And in fact, when reviewing Ebonix exchange, we see that the logos on the top right on the page are the exact same as Blue Helix. So you get to see here and here. So on the top itself, as you get to see. Ebonix source code even reveals that the logos are identically labeled BHEX, so they're literally labeled the same thing. They haven't even changed that in the source code. We found a total of 40 references to BHEX on just one spot trading page shown below. And then literally, if you go to inspect element itself, you'll find that it's BHEX, and you'll find that the two platforms are there very similar, or actually have a lot of identical information. Unsurprisingly, Ebonix looks strikingly similar to Blue Helix related exchange as well. Both exchange, HTBC, is now affiliated with Blue Helix domain, now redirects, and Huboy appears to be almost identical. Beyond design, BHEX is also apparently where the money is being sent to. And what may be a surprise to the users, when we set up an account on Ebonix to test the website, we found that XRP, address to use to deposit tokens onto Ebonix web platform, actually led to a Blue Helix address. Below is the deposit information where we show that would allow us to transfer XRP to Ebonix. So you get to see here, the name is Blue Helix, the domain is BHEX, and this is the actual link to there. And Ebang's Ebonix exchange reports incredibly suspicious volume metrics, suggesting that the day-old, relatively unknown platform is already on par with the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. Late to the party by about 9 years, the exchange space is highly competitive with roughly 500 existing exchange. Market share is going to establish players. Companies like Coinbase, Kraken, and Bitfinex have each spent almost a decade developing brands and trust with customers. Will the crowded market now embrace Ebonix, the new China-based exchange linked to an embezzlement scheme running a Singapore entity with a privacy policy and finance service agreement references to the Cayman Islands? And honestly, taking a quick look into this, keep in mind, they have a short selling position. But I did do a little bit of research here and there. Perhaps not all of their claims are right. Maybe some of their claims can be right. But taking a quick look into just the SEC filing, as someone who is going to go ahead and target things like Dogecoin, it becomes very clear that they're going after memes. They're going after stocks. They want to be a meme stock. I think they would love that. They raised a lot of money in terms of offering. And this is not something that is new in the market. A lot of these companies have thrown insane speculations, things going out of the market, and this is where the market has been gone to in the last few months. And this is not a surprise for me, but if I was you, things are looking very interesting for Ebon, and I would like to stay away on the fence line. But let's move on towards technical analysis now. Now, on the technical analysis perspective, just keep in mind, a lot of these are going to be bearish because of the massive drop today. However, in terms of looking at a general trend, it was already slipping from weeks before, especially in the last 3-4 weeks now. And in terms of the MACD, it was already due for a drop down or a negative reversal. So it's definitely exact timing that they've timed it as well on technical analysis and market slipping. And from Hindenburg research, they probably have already a lot of the short, and they're just trying to squeeze a little bit further as well. And in terms of general metrics, things are looking bearish. However, momentum is still at 0.23 and hasn't gone negative on the 1 week perspective. And it definitely needs to go above the $8 before it goes back to somewhat bullish. However, there is a trading action zone between the 777 and 741. MACD is incredibly negative. However, it did bounce $0.50 up from the 495 it started off on the day. Now, taking a quick look into stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both will reflect the slide and will tell you to be careful on the next support. The current bottom of the Bollinger Band is 504, so you might start expecting that might actually be a sealed bottom, and we need to look a little bit further into where the actual supports are. And on the Fibonacci retracements, We don't see much support, so we're going to just highlight the resistances on here and then go into a price line action to determine where the supports and resistances are. Current resistance is at 643, 806, 938, 1069, 1256, and 1495. On a price line action, we see a significant support sitting at 488, below there 448, and below there you're looking at 396. Significant resistance is 635. You're looking up to 702, and then up to 798, and then going up to 876, 904. We're looking at 981, 1037, and 1103, followed up by 1130. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? Here's the thing. In terms of just looking into the company itself, things might look a little bit bullish. However, the evidences against it are very strong. And until we get these answers back from Ebon and try to see what their responses are, and keep in mind, Hindenburg research has been wrong before, but they also have been right in some places. The things will definitely look very interesting into this one, and I'm very excited to hear back from the company. However, for me, I have neither a short position nor a support nor a long position. Short is because if you want to go short, you would have gone into a high resistance. You don't go in a short for a support. That's crazy. But at the same time, it is on a lower bound for a long, and it still has a position perhaps to go down $1.50 on a short. Oh, sorry, on a short, yeah, or perhaps a bottom for a long, but at this point I'm just speculating. I'm looking at it from the sidelines because I don't want to be in this mess, but I'm very interested to see what the response is because this is becoming a really interesting case that we're looking at. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day.